So, former Republican representative and Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, also a known coward, just being honest here, had a Fox News interview today, and he was talking about a variety of things, but specifically the biggest story in the news right now, which is Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York City. And he was parroting the usual Republican talking points that this is targeted, that it's unfair, yada, yada, yada. You know the story by now. But Kevin McCarthy also somehow, on a conservative outlet, managed to embarrass himself. And even the Fox News host who was conducting the interview pushed back on him on a variety of these different claims. So actually, pretty good job by the journalist who was interviewing him, which is rare for a Fox News host. But I have 3 clips to show you from this interview today with Kevin McCarthy. All of them not great. But the first one we're going to start with is when Kevin McCarthy was talking about the Trump trial, saying it's an attack on democracy by the Democrats somehow, and that, the real threat is the Democrats. Seriously, he actually said this. He said it with a straight face. Amazing, isn't it? Take a look at the clip.
These people talk about a democracy.
Danger to democracy.
They are the dangers to try to deny democracy to this country. This is really concerning to me, what the Biden and the Democrats have done. I mean, I
want to get into the trial more in the next segment.
But has Hillary ever said she lost the 2016 election?
Yeah, she called Donald Trump and conceded.
But she never in press ever says that. She says it was...
She did call Donald Trump and concede. Yeah. All right, so let's get back.
Yeah, so she conceded to Donald Trump. She admitted that she lost the election the day after the election.
Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country. I hope that he will be a successful president for all Americans. This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for. And I'm sorry that we did not win this election.
So I don't know what theory Kevin McCarthy just made up on the spot there, but Hillary Clinton absolutely conceded. And that is what people who lose in presidential elections should be doing, right? McCain did it to Obama. Romney did it to Obama. Clinton did it to Trump. Oh, but then in 2020, Donald Trump is the guy who broke that precedent. He didn't concede. Instead, he denied the election results for months, filed different challenges in court, submitted false electors, pressured elected officials around the country to call special sessions, all of it. And then there was the inevitable January 6th insurrection that he incited, that he played a big part in. So please, Kevin, please don't try to lecture us, the Democrats, the people who actually do care about democracy, about the threats towards our institutions and the threats towards our democracy. Hillary Clinton conceded. Donald Trump didn't. And his entire point in that answer is that he's concerned about what the Democrats are doing in connection to the Trump trial in New York City. Newsflash, it has nothing to do with the Democrats. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. This is a district attorney who impaneled a grand jury of average New Yorkers with the help of a judge, and they presented evidence. They conducted years-long investigations into this, presented evidence to the grand jury. They found that there was enough evidence to indict, and he was indicted. And now they're at trial. He's gotten every step of due process. They follow the rules, they follow the procedures, and now they're getting into the process of submitting evidence, presenting it to a jury, calling witnesses, and all that good stuff. Where's the threat to democracy? Where? Seriously, I wish Kevin would tell us where it is, because I'm struggling to see it. Republicans like Kevin McCarthy never just consider the possibility that Donald Trump just committed crimes, right? What if Donald Trump just did it? What if MAGA, this is not a massive conspiracy of the deep state and Joe Biden, yada, yada, yada. What if Donald Trump just did it? And all these other cases have not gone his way, even though he said a conspiracy theory about them. The fraud case in New York City, the sexual abuse defamation case from E. Jean Carroll against Donald Trump. He always says it's fake, and then what do you know? He's actually found liable for doing these things and maybe in criminal court found guilty for doing these things. So Kevin, please spare me. Seriously, spare me the outrage, because this is not Joe Biden. This is not the Democrats. This is a prosecutor who has evidence of a crime indicting someone who has potentially committed a crime. That's how our justice system works, and that's how it's always worked. Truly, the threat to democracy would be not indicting somebody who is alleged to have committed a crime just because they were a former president of the United States. Now that would be wrong. Anyway, aside from that insane clip of which Kevin McCarthy just blatantly lied live on air, I also have another clip from you of which Kevin McCarthy suggests that Joe Biden should interfere in the criminal case against Donald Trump. I'm serious. Again, he actually said this. Take a look at that clip of Kevin McCarthy.
Why wouldn't Joe Biden, caring about the voters, saying, you know what, this is wrong. If I have nothing to do with this, they should not have this trial right now so the American people could actually spend time on what the issues are.
Hold on. So
I think that would be the real position for this Biden to take.
So you're saying you did want President Biden, or you do want him to meddle with the justice system just in favor of Donald Trump?
No, I want his opinion to be fair. I want his opinion to look for the American people in fairness. Who in America thinks it's right that if Joe Biden was in trial right now beforehand, or that President Trump?
Oh, man, what an insane thing to say. You know, there is a reason that Joe Biden has not commented on any of these criminal cases against Donald Trump. That's a political gift to Joe Biden. He could just slam him every single day on this stuff, saying, hey, you're facing 88 felony charges. He doesn't. Why? Because it would be incredibly inappropriate for a sitting president of the United States to comment on these ongoing criminal proceedings. He hasn't commented on it in a positive way, saying, oh, he hasn't done it. Of course he wouldn't. And he also hasn't commented on it in a negative way, saying, oh, look at Donald Trump, the indicted defendant. Right? It'd be incredibly inappropriate. Our justice system and the Department of Justice itself are independent of the President of the United States. It's kind of how this country works. I know with MAGA, they tried to make them the same thing under Donald Trump's presidency. They want to make it the same thing if Trump wins again. But that is what we have going on in the United States. So if Biden were to come out and say, oh, they should drop it just because it's a presidential election, just because he's running, would be absurd. It would not only be a wrong position to take, it would be incredibly inappropriate. By the way, Donald Trump's ability to run for president doesn't supersede the justice system, right? So it's not that his presidential campaign is being inconvenienced by the trials. The trials are being inconvenienced by his presidential campaign. Justice and accountability comes first. That's how our system works. You don't get to have this special privilege that now you're running for president. Oh, the prosecutors have to look away if you committed a crime. They have to pretend it didn't happen and shut their eyes. No. Accountability comes first. Court comes first. And all of these Republicans claiming, oh, Donald Trump's going to be in court, for the presidential election, like Kevin McCarthy, sorry, he probably just shouldn't have committed crimes allegedly, right? Just don't do that, and you won't have to be in court. But, Donald Trump lives life differently. He thinks he's above the law, and he consistently shows that that is his way of thinking. And now, finally, the last clip I want to show you from this interview with Kevin McCarthy, again, just so absurd, is him kind of tripping over his words a little bit, but his suggestion in this clip is utter insanity. Take a look at it.
But it goes back to one question.
Yeah.
Does anybody in America believe President Trump would be holding this trial now if he wasn't running for president? That's the number one issue. So
as I mentioned, didn't really get the words out correctly, but that's okay. We don't criminalize people for having mistakes in their speech, as Republicans like to do, but aside from that, this is one of the worst theories that MAGA Republicans have come up with in connection to the Trump indictments, that somehow it is politically motivated and these cases would not be brought against him if he wasn't running for president. And that is just nonsense. If these Trump supporters and these Trump surrogates understood how the justice system works and how the indictment process works, they'd understand that this theory is utter garbage. Right? Because with the majority of Donald Trump's indictments, the investigations began once he left office because either the conduct alleged occurred in the final few months of his presidency or even after his presidency. And then, what do you know? He was indicted a year and a half, 2 years later, a typical investigation schedule. They normally take 2 years. And that's why he's going to trial now, because investigation started in January 2021. He was indicted in the following year or even 2023. And now he's going to trial in 2024 after he pushed them all back. We could be through multiple trials by now if Donald Trump was not trying to push them all back. We'd be done. So this is not trying to interfere in politics. It's not politically motivated. It is just how investigations work, how indictments work. And I guess MAGA Republicans don't seem to understand that. And even aside from all of that, they already are setting the stage to deny the results of a potential verdict from a jury. The jury could come back and say it's innocent, and they'll celebrate. The jury could be a hung jury. But if the jury comes back guilty, Republicans have already set the stage to say, oh, it's politically motivated, it's wrong, they were targeting him, yada, yada, yada. We all heard it by now. But it's just an insane suggestion. It's conspiratorial. You're living in fantasy land if you believe some of the stuff that's coming out of Kevin McCarthy's mouth in this interview. But honestly, I don't expect anything less from Kevin McCarthy. This is a guy who still loves Donald Trump, is still loyal to him, even after Trump sent his followers after the members of Congress on January 6th. Kevin McCarthy still pushes his talking points, his lies, all that garbage. It's just who Kevin is, and it's just who a lot of these MAGA Republicans are. But I digress. It's very frustrating, but I digress. I'm going to end the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate the support. Also, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think. Share the video with anybody you think needs to see it. And as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.